Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling a job that's, well, a little bit explosive.
Explosive is right.
That's right, we're talking about nitroglycerin neutralizers.
Now, those are some folks who have nerves of steel.
You can say that again. I mean, you're literally dealing with stuff that could go boom.
But that's why it's so crucial to go into that interview prepared to showcase your skills and knowledge.
Exactly. We want you to walk in there and blow them away, metaphorically speaking, of course, with how well you understand the job and the safety protocols.
And that's where we come in. We're going to walk you through some of the most common interview questions so you can practice your answers and feel super confident on the big day.
First, let's do a super quick overview. What's a nitroglycerin neutralizer actually do?
Well, in the simplest terms, they make sure things don't explode.
Okay, I knew that part. But seriously, what does that involve?
It's all about using chemical processes to neutralize the explosive properties of nitroglycerin.
So they're basically transforming something dangerous into something safe.
Exactly. It's like alchemy, but with a lot more safety regulations.
Makes sense. Now, before we dive into the interview prep, I have to give a shout out to our friends at RoleCatcher.
Oh yes, RoleCatcher is a lifesaver, especially their AI tools.
Seriously, they can help you tailor your resume and cover letter, practice your interview answers with AI feedback, and even identify those hidden skill gaps you might not even know you have.
It's like having a personal career coach right in your pocket.
All right, let's get down to business. What's the first question you think our future nitroglycerin neutralizers should be ready for?
Well, they almost always start with something like, can you describe your experience with nitroglycerin neutralization?
Okay, that seems straightforward enough. But what if you don't have direct experience with nitroglycerin specifically?
That's okay. The key here is to showcase your understanding of the neutralization process itself.
So even if you've worked with other volatile chemicals, you can highlight those experiences.
Exactly. Talk about how you meticulously followed safety protocols, ensured controlled reactions, and maybe even share a story about a time you had to troubleshoot a problem.
It's all about connecting the dots for them and demonstrating your ability to learn quickly.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you identify those transferable skills from your past experiences and highlight them in your resume.
So smart. Now, I'm guessing safety is a big deal in this line of work.
Huge.
So what kind of question should our listeners expect about safety?
What safety measures do you take when working with nitroglycerin is almost guaranteed to come up?
Okay, that's a big one. What's the best way to approach that?
It's all about showcasing your proactive approach to safety.
So don't just say, I wear gloves.
Right. Talk about specific PPE like gloves, goggles, respirators, the whole 9 yards. Mention your understanding of storage protocols, ventilation, and emergency procedures.
Make them feel like you're already a safety pro.
Exactly. And don't forget, RoleCatcher has tons of resources on specific safety standards for this field. Brush up on those and you'll be golden.
Speaking of being prepared, what about those unexpected situations?
Oh yeah, they'll definitely want to know how you handle pressure.
So what kind of questions should we be ready for?
Something like, how do you handle unexpected situations when working with nitroglycerin?
Okay, that's a tough one. Any tips?
This is where the STAR method comes in handy.
Remind me, what's the STAR method again?
It's a way to structure your answer by describing the situation, task, action, and result of a specific experience.
So instead of just saying, I'm good under pressure, you tell the story that proves it.
Exactly. Think of a time when things got a little dicey, maybe not with nitroglycerin, but any situation where you had to think on your feet and resolve a problem.
And highlight that you stayed calm and collected, even when things were heating up.
Right. Now, they might also ask about accuracy, like, how do you ensure accuracy when neutralizing nitroglycerin?
It's not just about getting it done, it's about getting it done right.
Precisely. So, talk about your meticulous adherence to protocols, double-checking calculations, and using precise measurement tools.
Don't forget to mention that keen eye for detail. Being able to spot inconsistencies is a major plus.
Absolutely. Now, here's one that might seem less technical, but is equally important. What role does teamwork play in nitroglycerin neutralization?
Because no one wants a lone wolf handling explosive.
Exactly. Emphasize that you understand the importance of communication, sharing information transparently, and supporting your colleagues to create a culture of safety.
Teamwork makes the dream work, especially when you're dealing with, potential explosions.
Couldn't agree more. Now, here's another one that's all about showcasing your passion for the field. How do you stay up to date with advancements in nitroglycerin neutralization techniques?
Oh, yeah, this is where you show them you're not just clocking in and out. You're genuinely interested in what you do.
Exactly. Mention specific industry journals, conferences, online communities, anything that demonstrates your commitment to continuous learning.
And guess what? RoleCatcher has links to a bunch of those resources.
See? They've got you covered. Now, back to problem solving. They might ask you to describe a specific time you had to troubleshoot a problem during the neutralization process.
Another chance to shine with the STAR method.
Absolutely. Walk them through the situation, but this time, focus on your analytical skills. What data did you analyze? What steps did you take? How did you come up with the solution?
And, of course, what was the positive outcome?
Right. The more specific you can be, the better. It shows them you're not just winging it, you're a methodical problem solver.
Okay, one last question before we move on to the career progression stuff.
Yeah.
What about regulations? I bet there are a ton of those in this line of work.
You bet. They want to make sure you understand the importance of compliance.
So what kind of questions should our listeners be ready for?
Something like, how do you ensure compliance with regulatory requirements when neutralizing nitroglycerin?
Sounds a little dry, but I guess it's crucial.
It really is. You want to demonstrate your knowledge of the relevant regulations and procedures and your commitment to maintaining a safe and compliant work environment.
No one wants to deal with fines or, even worse, accidents.
Exactly. If you have experience with audits or inspections, mention that. It shows you take compliance seriously.
Great advice. I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have, but we're not done yet.
That's right. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore the career path of a nitroglycerin neutralizer and how you can use RoleCatcher's AI to plan your journey to the top.
It's going to be explosive, in a good way, of course.
So stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. So now that we've talked all about acing that nitroglycerin neutralizer interview,
Right.
let's shift gears a bit and talk about what your career path could look like.
You know, I love a good roadmap. So where are we headed?
Well, luckily, RoleCatcher has an awesome career guide just for this.
Amazing.
And it breaks down the typical career path into 3 main stages.
Ooh, tell me more.
Entry-level junior and senior nitroglycerin neutralizer.
Okay, so a pretty standard progression.
Right. But each stage has its own unique responsibilities, expectations,
Right.
and of course, rewards.
Well, let's start at the very beginning, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
What can someone expect when they land that first job as an entry-level nitroglycerin neutralizer?
Well, at that stage, it's all about learning the ropes.
Right.
Building a solid foundation.
Okay.
You'll be working very closely with experienced neutralizers, assisting with the preparation of those mixing tanks,
I see.
and of course, meticulously following all those safety protocols.
Makes sense. So it's a lot of observation, a lot of hands-on learning.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be monitoring the neutralization process, ensuring accurate records,
Yeah.
and even helping with cleaning and maintaining the equipment.
So it's like a paid apprenticeship almost.
Yeah, you could say that.
You get to work with some really cool stuff,
Mm-hmm.
potentially volatile stuff,
Mm.
but, that's where the excitement is.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher can actually be really helpful here too.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, their AI can actually help you identify any potential skill gaps you might have.
At this early stage?
Yeah, at this stage.
Okay.
And it can suggest courses or certifications that might be useful to boost your career.
So it's like a personalized career advisor right there in the platform.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you've put in the time, you've mastered the basics, you're ready to move up.
Okay. What's next?
So that would be the junior nitroglycerin neutralizer role.
Okay. So a little bit more responsibility, a little more independence.
Absolutely. As a junior neutralizer, you start handling the neutralization process more independently.
Okay.
You'll be analyzing those process parameters, making any adjustments that need to be made, and basically taking ownership of your assigned tasks.
So it's not just about following instructions anymore.
No, not at all.
You really have to understand the why behind the what at that stage.
Exactly. And you have to be able to troubleshoot any problems that might come up.
Yeah. Be that problem solver.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond that, what else?
You'd also be involved in routine maintenance, training those newer entry-level employees,
Okay.
and making sure everyone's adhering to those all-important safety regulations.
Sounds like a big jump in responsibility,
Yeah.
but also a great opportunity to develop some leadership skills.
Exactly. And throughout this whole stage, RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful as well.
Okay, how so?
It can track your progress, identify areas for improvement, and even connect you with mentors or professionals who can offer guidance.
That's so cool. Okay, so let's fast forward a few more years, right?
Right.
You've rocked that junior neutralizer role.
Mm-hmm.
You're ready for the big leagues.
Right.
What awaits you at the top?
The senior nitroglycerin neutralizer. That's where it's at. This is where you're overseeing the whole process,
Okay.
maybe even multiple mixing tanks. You're developing and implementing process improvements,
Wow.
ensuring maximum efficiency, and of course, maintaining those highest safety standards.
So you're like the maestro of nitroglycerin neutralization.
Yes, exactly. You're mentoring and training those junior neutralizers, collaborating with other departments,
Okay.
conducting those regular audits to ensure compliance.
You're not just a nitroglycerin neutralizer anymore. You're a leader, a problem solver, a champion for safety.
I like that.
Right. And what I love about the RoleCatcher Career Guide is that it actually provides examples.
Real life
The
example.
people who've done this, who've climbed this ladder. You can read their stories, learn from their experiences.
Exactly.
And it just makes it all feel so much more real and achievable.
Definitely.
And speaking of real and achievable, RoleCatcher isn't just about finding a job.
No,
It's about building a whole career.
absolutely.
And their AI is there to help you at every stage of that journey.
Every step of the way.
So we've covered the interview questions, we've explored this awesome career path,
Right.
and we've seen how RoleCatcher can be your secret weapon. Would you think anything else we need to add?
I think we've covered it all.
Perfect. Well, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to hear from all of you. What are you most excited about in this career path? Let us know.
Okay. So we've prepped for that interview. We've mapped out a pretty awesome career path.
Yeah.
And now it's time to talk about RoleCatcher's AI features in a little more detail.
Well, right, because they're so cool.
I know. I've been using them myself, and they're really game changers.
I agree. It's like having this super smart assistant in your pocket helping you every step of the way.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that RoleCatcher's AI can analyze job descriptions.
Yeah.
But how does that actually help me?
Well, it's more than just picking out keywords.
Right.
It's about really understanding what those hiring managers are looking for.
Okay.
So RoleCatcher's AI digs deep into those descriptions and figures out the relative importance of different skills and experiences.
Oh, wow.
So then you can see what they're prioritizing and tailor your resume and cover letter to highlight those things. So you're basically getting an inside scoop on the hiring process.
Pretty much.
Okay, so, I've heard about all these AI-powered resume builders. Is RoleCatcher's any different?
Well, RoleCatcher doesn't just spit out a generic resume. It actually helps you craft a really compelling story
Okay.
that highlights your unique skills and experience and tailors it to that specific job you're applying for.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Okay, so now let's talk about the interview itself.
Okay.
I know you've given us some awesome questions to think about, but how can RoleCatcher's AI help us even more?
Well, beyond just giving you a bunch of questions to practice, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your answers
Oh, wow.
and give you feedback that's targeted to the nuances of the job.
Okay.
So it can help you improve your clarity, your conciseness,
Uh-huh.
and even suggest ways to make your answers more impactful.
So it's like having an interview coach right there in your pocket.
Yeah. It's like having a little angel on your shoulder.
I love that.
And you can record yourself answering the questions too.
Oh, really?
And then RoleCatcher's AI will analyze your body language, your tone of voice.
Oh, gosh. That's a little scary, but also really helpful.
Right. It's not just about what you say.
Right.
It's how you say it.
Exactly.
So it makes sure you're projecting that confidence, that competence, that genuine passion for the role.
Okay, so RoleCatcher can help tailor my application, nail the interview,
Yeah.
map out my career path. What can't it do?
Well, it can't go to the interview for you.
True.
But you know something else really cool that it does?
What's that?
It can actually uncover hidden skill gaps.
Okay.
So by comparing your profile to those different job requirements,
Uh-huh.
RoleCatcher can pinpoint areas where you might need to brush up on your skills.
That's so valuable, especially in this field that's constantly evolving.
Exactly. And then it can even suggest courses, certifications, or even volunteer opportunities
Wow.
to help you bridge those gaps and make you an even stronger candidate.
It's not just a job hunting tool. It's a whole career development platform.
That's what I love about it.
All right, so I think we've covered everything.
I think so too.
We've given our listeners an awesome roadmap to navigate this whole career path. Any final words of wisdom?
Just remember, you've got this. It's a challenging field, for sure, but it's incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
And with the right preparation and awesome tools like RoleCatcher, you're setting yourself up for success.
Now, as always, we like to leave our listeners with something to ponder.
Oh, I love this part.
Okay, so think about this. As technology continues to advance, how do you envision the role of a nitroglycerin neutralizer evolving in the future?
That's a great question.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, that wraps up our deep dive into becoming a nitroglycerin neutralizer.
It was explosive.
It really was,
Okay.
in a good way, of course.
In a good way.
We hope you're feeling informed, inspired,
Mm-hmm.
and ready to conquer that interview.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy job hunting.